Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today we're going to be doing a tag video, a Halloween tag video, which is super exciting. So this tag I discovered from the channel Bookables. We're going to be looking at different songs that have Halloween vibes, and there is a question with each song, and I will be providing an answer to you guys. I will leave all the info for this tag linked down below if you guys would like to check it out, and give me some of your answers down below in the comments. Let's get into it. There are so many great songs on this tag. When I think Halloween, I don't really think music. The only holiday I really think music for is Christmas. So I feel like this is such a creative tag because there are some songs that give those Halloween vibes. I've been listening to a great playlist on Spotify. I'm going to actually link that below as well. I don't remember who the creator was, but there are a lot of songs with spooky vibes. I feel like Stevie Nicks is the queen of that. But let's get into the tag. So our first one is Thriller. You can't get more iconic than that. A book that was an absolute page turner. So I should say, not all these books are going to be spooky books, but some of them might be. So a page turner I read recently was Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. This was my first fiction pick by her, and I absolutely loved it. I was just going through it so fast. It's a short book, but I was still constantly wanting to know what was going to happen next. And I feel like it's still so prevalent to our society, even though it was written 50 years ago. I think even longer than that. And then it was such an influential book compared to a lot of the sad girl lit books we see today in contemporary or literary fiction and that genre. This book, I feel like, was the founding stone of that genre. So number 2, I always feel like somebody's watching me. A book that gave you the serious creeps. For me, that is one of my all-time favorite books, and that is the book of the Unnamed Midwife. I'm like, Meg Elliott or Meg Ellison? One of those last names. I was telling a friend about this the other day, and he says he's going to read it, so I'm super excited. But probably, yeah, it's my favorite science fiction book, but this book gave me nightmares. It's not even a horror. It's a pandemic novel where the majority of the world's population has died, and it's trying to come to terms with that because it happens as this pandemic is happening. And basically how objectified women become, and this book is literally my worst nightmare. I would rather die than go through what this book is about. It's terrifying. And as I said, not a horror, but it gives me nightmares. I think about it all the time. One of the best books I've ever read. Number 3, Vampire. I don't know what... Oh, Olivia Rodrigo? Maybe? I don't know when this tag was made. No, it's probably not her. But a book that was soul-sucking. Laika, which is a graphic novel about the first dog to... or first living being from Earth, anyway, that has gone in the atmosphere of Earth. And literally, I cried. It takes a lot for a book to make me cry. This one did that. So number 4, I Put a Spell on You, a book featuring witchcraft or magic. And I'm choosing The Price Guide to the Occult. This is a young adult fantasy, but it is more magical realism. I read it back in July, and I honestly didn't expect a lot going in, but I loved it. And it's a really fast read, and it's perfect to read this time of year with slight magic and witchcraft. They all have very little powers, like maybe being able to understand the animals and plants around them, like little things like that. Nothing major, like, I don't know, you know, there's these where there's other races of like elves and goblins, that kind of thing. It's not that kind of fantasy. So number 5, this is Halloween. Your favorite treat or snack while reading? I don't do that. I don't eat while I'm reading because I don't know if I'm going to keep or unhaul a book. And if I'm unhauling it, I don't want there to be like greasy fingerprints all over the book because that is kind of gross and I don't want somebody to have to experience that. So I might have a drink while I'm reading. Water, soda, tea, milk, whatever, that's all I drink. So I might have a drink, but I'm not having a treat while I'm reading. Number 6, Time Warp. let's do the time warp again. What books or book do you like to return to this time of year? So I haven't actually done this, but one that I always think in my mind would be great to return to this time of year is Stalking Jack the Ripper. I really want to continue that series, so I do think I'm going to do a reread next year in 2024, and reread the first book and then finish the rest of the series, which is a young adult historical thriller, but it was so good and so atmospheric, and one of the first books I annotated, actually. So number 7, Hungry Like the Wolf, a book you loved you so much you devoured. So I think it should be a book you loved so much you devoured. This would also be a soul-sucking one. Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. This is the second book in the Beartown series. Now, what is the Beartown series about? It is a book in a small town in Sweden that is really a hockey town. Hockey is just the culture there. It runs everything. A sexual assault case goes on and really divides the town, and this is just showing the aftermath of the trial and everything, and just the character work is so good. I honestly don't know how Frederick Bachman does it. He's just a master of character work. So number 8, The Addams Family, a book that features a dysfunctional family. Now, there are plenty. I feel like every single family is dysfunctional, but we're going with The Rules of Magic, which is a prequel to Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is about three siblings in the 1960s, and they are witches and a warlock. So they are going through that really tumultuous time in history while dealing with having magical powers. So number 9, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, a book genre you're scared or intimidated to pick up. One that's been extremely, extremely popular in the recent months, which is fantasy romance. Romance is a genre that I really just started getting into last year, so it's still one that's new to me, and I am still trying to find out what tropes are for me and which ones aren't. And in fantasy, I've been having a hard time with. Fantasy was one of my first favorite genres, but I really now just have a hard time getting into it. So putting those two together just seems really difficult for me, and I haven't really found one that really, really grips me by hearing a description of, because I don't think I've read any fantasy romance. Now, number 10, our last question here, The Twilight Zone, a book with a completely different and unique premise. Really, not anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but at least 3 of her historical novels, but one's a short story, but I'm going with Evidence of the Affair. It is told all in letters, and it is between two people who their spouses are cheating on them with each other. And honestly, I'm like, how do you come up with that? It was a good short story and very unique. So that is the Halloween song book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a pumpkin emoji if you made it all the way through. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!